This is Randy Churko and Jason Feehan with How to Make More Money with Music, Volume 2. This one is all about merch strategies. We like to say that there's just one formula for any kind of business. What you make minus what you spend is what you keep. And in specific to the music business, we've cataloged over 300 revenue streams that musicians can activate today. And that's why we wrote Making Money with Music, the book. But we also teamed up with disc makers to create a series of ebooks to help you make more money with music. The way to do that, or at least one of the ways to do that, is to have more things to sell your audience. Yes, we're talking about selling merchandise, but we're also talking about learning pricing strategies so you can maximize what you make. We're going to cover all of that in this video, so let's jump in and find out how to do that. To make merchandise that people want to buy, you need to create something called a persona for yourself. Now, to answer this question, why would anyone want to buy a t-shirt from a musician? Sometimes we get the answer because they want to support the musician. But if you had a merch table with just black t-shirts and white t-shirts, for example, just plain white and black t-shirts, it's unlikely you're going to sell too many. In fact, there's something else that you should know about merchandise, and that is that it's not about you, it's about your fans. They get the merch that they buy because they want to tell the world who they are, what they believe in, how they think, what they stand for, and what they experienced. Considering this, how do you create merch that fans want to buy? You start with something called a persona. Now, a persona is an idea or the idea that represents you and your music that you want people to carry around in their heads. It's a simplified version of yourself. It cannot be as complex as you are. And since it's just an idea, you can think of it like an EQ for your personality and values and beliefs. You want to concentrate them into concepts so your fans can understand, relate to, and identify with what it is. Once you have a better idea of what it is, then your fans will want to buy your merch because they will relate to you. In fact, it sort of acts as a magnet to attract fans in the world to you and your music. And then once you do that, they actually are more likely to become your customers and buy the merchandise that you have. It also makes it much easier for you to create your brand, your logo, your images, your colors, your fonts, and more. All of these are building blocks for your merchandise. Once you have those building blocks, the next question is, what is the mix of merchandise that you should make? A lot of people go into this blind, but you can actually know your customers and angle it so that you're going to make the most money. In particular, you should know that your customers will usually spend maybe between $1 and $50 depending, and a select group will spend beyond that in the much higher range. We like to call them minnows, dolphins, and whales, each one of them spending sort of a different amount and having a different target. Here's the funny thing. When you look at your revenue, the entire pyramid tips onto its point, and most of your money is actually coming 50 to 80%, that is, coming from your whales. And because of that, you want to make sure that you have high-end products, merch, experiences, and funding rewards that your whales want to open their wallets to get. In fact, here's an entire mix that you can think of making. A mix of physical music and video products, mass manufactured and exclusive limited availability merchandise, practical and impractical, and inexpensive, mid-priced, and high-end, like we just said. And this is what it can look like. From an apparel standpoint, for example, you can sell a scarf or a bandana for very cheap. Your t-shirts tend to be dolphin level, and then you can sell sweatshirts. And of course, once you get to the whale level, you have things like jackets and other high-end apparel. Now, apparel mostly is in the practical set. If you look at the impulse buys at the bottom, we're talking about things that are impractical, like stickers and patches and buttons and magnets and things like that, where you could sell it for just $1 or $2. You start to go up to books for the dolphin level, and for the whale level on impulse buys, you have limited edition or one-of-a-kind items That is to say, if you make less of something, you can charge far more for it. The interesting thing is the middle alley that we have here. We have small poster, full size poster, and frame poster, one in each category. Whereas, your small posters might just be a few bucks. You can use the same item and sell it 3 times. We're not saying you have to do that. The idea is to think of every item and every category that they can be in and choose the ones that your fans are most likely to buy from you. Next is how to create merchandise. Now, there's a number of basic items like t shirts, stickers, posters, and physical media. And we cover that in the ebook. So you really should check that out in the ebook. You can also check out our book if you really want to dive in. We go into much greater detail in making money with music. Since we have that covered, we wanted to use this video to talk about the more interesting items. That includes things like food merchandise, where you can actually make your own branded water and branded M&Ms and all kinds of things along those lines. Books, of course. Electronics are fascinating since you can brand pretty much any one of them. And jewelry and accessories can be very inexpensive to buy wholesale, whereas you could sell them for quite a lot of money and make a very big margin on it. All of these are available online if you search it. There's lots of options for it, and you really should think far beyond the basics. We cover a little bit more detail in the ebook, but then once you have these items, the question is, what kind of pricing strategies should you put together? In fact, this is something that every business asks themselves, is how do they boost their sales? We've all seen these signs before: act now and save money, buy one, get one free, limited time offer. We see it over and over and over again because they work. And in fact, upsells are very, very effective, for example, at your merch table, where you might have a minnow item like a sticker or a patch or a magnet, and you could sell them for maybe $1 or $2. But if somebody has that in hand and are about to buy it, you can say, you get a sticker free or a magnet free if you buy a t-shirt. So that's an upsell. You can upsell your way all the way to your highest end whale items, where you're making maybe even $50 to $100 in margin on that. You can give a free t-shirt away if they buy it. And so it's the way to get people to climb up that ladder and spend more. Similarly, once you have enough items, let's say you have a poster and a t-shirt and a hat, you can sell all 3 in a bundle. And once they have it, you could say, well, for just $20 more, you could have all 3 of these. And suddenly they're more inclined to actually spend a lot more money at the merch table than they first were inclined to, because it's just an extra margin on top of it. So you should always make upsells and bundles. You should also make sure that you always have limited availability items. That is to say, the less of an item you make, the more it's worth, up to the point where you make a single item and you customize a jacket that maybe you buy at a thrift store, and you maybe paint on it or do something. That item could be $300. It could be more than that. And suddenly it makes a $25 t-shirt look very inexpensive. And now you have something for your whales to actually want. Similarly, for limited time offers, people hate to lose something that they already have. You always should have this available as well. You use it to drive sales by making sure that there's a discount or some kind of a deal that's only available at that particular show. And people, since they hate to lose something they already have, are much more likely to move forward. Don't ever forget to add one of these at every single show. If you don't, in every single, even online stores, you can make these one-off deals and get people to act without leaving the store saying, hey, I'll think about it and come back later. Don't give them time to think. Speaking about thinking, if you want more ideas, you can check out Making Money with Music. It's available both as a book and as an ebook, as an audiobook. And then also, you can use the Making Money with Music newsletter, which comes out on a regular basis, to get ideas sent to your inbox on a regular basis all the time. MakingMoneyWithMusic.com, you can sign up. And if you do, you'll get a companion ebook and a music starter kit that includes things like split sheets. So grab that now while you could get that, and keep your eyes open, because we're always working on new ebooks, and we've got more coming out soon. In fact, we have a whole series of them planned. So keep your eyes on the space. Thanks, and looking forward to seeing you soon.